Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you guys how to make a tassel. Yay! So planner tassel is an accessory for your planner. You can hang them on ring planners, on TNs. You can put them in Happy Mail. I turn them into keychains as well. That'll be a different video. It's not too different, but it has to be its own video because to make a tassel takes a little bit. I've gotten a lot new subscribers, and I've gotten a few requests for me to show you guys how I make my planning with Ellie tassels, and I'm so excited to do this for you guys. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Basically, all you're gonna need is some yarn of your choice, some scissors, a little bucket or a trash can. I call this Ellie's trash can. I just emptied it because it was jam-packed to the top. And then something to something for the sides of your tassel. So I always use these little recollections books. As you can tell, they're kind of beat up, so I never use these in my TNs. I just keep these for me. And so my tassels are usually this size, which is like a pocket size, and if I need them to be a little bit shorter, then I just cut them a little bit more. But this is, for the most part, this is the height of my tassel, so that's why I have this. For my tassels, I've actually been loving this brand from Hobby Lobby. It is the I Love This Cotton yarn, and I love this. It works beautifully. It doesn't fray, and it doesn't get like staticky. It doesn't get like what's that word? Some tassels, they get like fur, or they almost look hairy, if that's even a word. But these are perfect. This is the perfect yarn for a tassel. So I've been trying to collect them in all the colors they have. I have quite a collection already. I've been buying them, and they're fairly inexpensive. They're $3.79, and you get this whole little like yarn set. So if you guys are looking for a good yarn to do a tassel, I definitely recommend this one. And again, I picked it up from Hobby Lobby. So the first thing you want to do is put some yarn. You're going to grab your yarn, unroll it, and you're going to go ahead and leave about this much. That way you know that's your beginning. Then you're going to go ahead and leave your finger right here at the very bottom. Like I said, your yarn or your tassel can be whatever size you want it to be. It doesn't have to be this book, so you don't have to go to Michael's and buy this recollections book. You don't have to do that. Just find whatever you can that's a nice little height, depending what you're putting it on as well. If you're putting it on an A5, you might want a bigger tassel. If you're putting it on a pocket size, you might want a smaller tassel. So based on whatever you're using it, that's going to be your height. So I'm just using this little book. And for the most part, these are the ones that I make for my TNs and for my tassel keychains. So you're just going to wrap it. You're just going to wrap it around a gazillion times. And you're just going to keep scooting them over. Now you want a nice fluffy tassel. So depending on how fluffy you want it, you can add a ton of yarn. If you want it to be very minimal and not so fluffy, then you can add a little bit of yarn. If you want it to be so-so, then you can add so-so yarn. Like not so much, but not so little. So just keep doing that, and I always put it towards the middle, and then I kind of end towards the middle of the book as well, and that's kind of the width that I always go for. So then I just keep unwrapping, and then I just keep pushing over just like so. Alright, so now that I have my base, I'm going to go ahead and keep going, but this time I'm going to layer. So we're just going to go ahead and layer. You can try to make it as perfect as possible, but that never really works out. You can see not every single row has it, but I then try to, you see how there's like a little hole right there? I try to fill in that little gap. Don't worry about this. You can just pull it down and it'll come back down if you want to move it out of your way. But just keep your finger on it. Even so, it should already be nice and tight, so you don't really have to worry about it. If you see that your book is bending, go ahead and straighten it out as well. There we go. Perfect. Just keep going. And like I said, depending how thick, maybe you want to stop there, maybe you want to keep going. I normally kind of feel where my tassel needs to end, because since I've done this so much, I kind of already have an idea of what my tassel should look like. And it'll kind of be done when it's done. As you can see, it's bending. I've used this book for every tassel that I've made. Along with this one, I kind of alternate between them, so it has been through a lot. It's made a lot of tassels for me. Alright, so that looks pretty good to me. It feels nice and thick. Remember, you have a back layer and you have a top layer. So don't just look at this. Just remember you also have a back layer. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and cut this right here. And we're going to need 2 pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut about that much. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut about that much, because then don't forget, we can always give it a haircut. That's kind of my term. That's kind of what I always say. So one is going to be to wrap around so that everything squinches together, and then the other one is going to be for your top tassel to hold. So now that we have that, you're gonna go ahead and put your fingers through the middle, right? So this is where my tassel starts and where my tassel ends. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take my scissors. You're gonna need a nice sharp pair of scissors, something that'll cut really thick. Perfect. So now I have a little crease right here at the top. So I try to remember that, and I try to put my finger right there. And I'm gonna go ahead and actually use this one, because this one looks a little less shorter. So I'm gonna put my finger, my yarn right there. If you want to do a little bit straightening, go for it, but you can always do it once everything is nice and tied. So now you're just gonna go ahead and grab it, and you're gonna pull it upwards, right? Just like so. Scoot it up a little bit, tuck that in, and give it a nice little fluff. Now it's not going to be even, it's not going to be perfect, because since you cut it from an end of the book and you didn't cut it directly in the center, it's definitely not going to be even. So when you give it its little haircut, that's when you're going to even everything out. But the most important thing is that the top needs to be perfect. It needs to be nice and smooth. Everything needs to be down. Try not to have any little bumps, and just be patient and just kind of work your fingers through it. And another little secret is you want to go ahead and take these 2 ends and go ahead and just blend them in together, because that way it looks more professionally done, and people are going to be like, wow, how did you do that? And it's just going to look super cool. So go ahead and just keep putting your fingers through it and make sure it looks nice and smooth. Perfect. So now you're going to go ahead and take your second thread that you cut, and going to go ahead and lay it down just like so. I didn't tie the top yet, which I probably should. I normally wait, but in case for newcomers, it's probably easier if you tie it at the top. Just like that. Tie it in 2 knots. Just like that. Go ahead and straighten it again. Remember, just kind of take your time. This one's too much inward, so I'm going to tuck it back out. And then lay it on the top. Take your yarn, tie a little knot, and look at how smooth that is. So you have the little head at the top. I tie a little knot, I turn it over, I tie another knot to secure it, I turn it over one more time, because that's just me. Kind of like when I'm laminating, I laminate 1,000 times. Well, I tie like 1,000 knots. There we go. So another little trick is that once you tie the knot, you want to go ahead and take your ribbon And then you're gonna take the knot, you're gonna take the string that's facing like upwards, and you're gonna tuck it in so that it lays down flat like that. See? So now it's not really sticking up too much. But as you can see, my head looks really, really cute. It's nice and smooth. Everything is blended in from the middle. Now, when you do a keychain, it's a little bit harder. It definitely does get a little bit harder because you have to, add the keys, the key ring. So now, depending on how tall you want your tassel to be, I don't need this. This is really not going into a planner. So I'm just going to go ahead and tie a little loop at the top. And then I'm going to cut it as close as possible. Just like that. And there you have the top of the tassel. So normally when I'm cutting my tassels, I like to stand up. I put my trash can on the chair so that way I see at a good eye level where I'm cutting my, where I'm giving my tassel a haircut, right? So as you can see, everything is completely uneven here. And it's cool with that. It's cool. Because especially for my pocket TNs, they're never this height. You always give it a little haircut. So go ahead and cut the first layer first. And like I said, I normally stand up and put this on the chair. That's just easier for me to see where I'm cutting. But since I'm doing it for the video, I'm going to try to do the best I can. There we go. And then I just smooth it out. And I cut anything that's long. So then just take it, fluff it out, take a look at it, and I still need to give it a trim. So as you can see, my little tassel still needs a trim. So let's cut your hair. And I love this color. This is such a pretty blue. You want to make sure you get all the edges. It's going to let out some fur. And then go ahead and just look at it at eye level. Just what I'm doing now, but you can't see. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut again. As you can see, there's still some long pieces there. This is a really easy method. It's worked for me all these years. And I love making tassels. It's a fun way to also give gifts, accessorize your planner. Perfect. So go ahead and give it a little shake again. And look at how fluffy it is. So pretty. So I'm going to go ahead and look at it at eye level. Now there's maybe like 1 or 2 strings that are a lot shorter. And I'm totally okay with that. But if I was making this for someone else, I would definitely try to make it as perfect as possible. So since it's not for anybody else and it's just for me, I'm going to go ahead and leave it as is. Still needs a little haircut. I think this was actually one of my older videos, like when I first started my YouTube channel. So it's good to do a little update. If there's any other videos that you want me to do an update on how I create something, then definitely let me know, because like I've said, throughout the years, my methods have changed. I've always tried to perfect everything that I do. So maybe now I do a little something different that I didn't do back then. That'll be helpful to you guys. Perfect. And I think we're almost ready. And that is pretty much it. My tassel looks good. I'm going to give it, hold on, let me check it from the top and see if there's anything that I need to cut. So now what I do is I look at it from eye level and then I just trim anything that sticks out. Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and look at it one more time, give it as much of a haircut as it needs to be for it to be perfect, and it's perfect. I love it. So my tassel looks amazing, and I'm going to go ahead and lay it down so that you guys can see what it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and spread it, and as you can see, that's where my shorter ends are, but like I said, just take your time with it, and if I was doing this for someone else, I would definitely make it as perfect as possible, because that's just how I work. And as you can see, everything looks pretty even. So if you want to cut a little bit, go ahead and cut. And there you have it, you guys. That is my method for how I make my tassels for planner accessories. I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you want to add a bow to it, all you have to do is go ahead and hot glue it to the center. I normally like to glue it to where the tie is. That way, one, I know it stays secure, and two, you can hide that little tie. But if you want to, you can put it at the very front center as well, depending where your tassel looks nicer. There's always a nicer side, kind of how when you take a picture and you're like, this is my pretty side, this is my not so pretty side. So same thing with a tassel. You can add bows to it, you can add little flowers all around it, you can add ribbon, you can add gems, you can add all kinds of fun things. One thing that I do want to do, I've never tried it, but I wanted to glue like little pearls or little gems to it and just kind of have like a bedazzled tassel. That's an idea that I just got that I'm like, I think that would be really cool. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it, you guys. That is how I make my tassels. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, found it super helpful. If you guys have any questions in regards to this tutorial, definitely leave it in the comments down below. I'd be happy to help, and I hope you decide to give this a try. If you do give it a try, go ahead and tag me on Instagram. I would love to see your creations and where you put this tassel. So thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you enjoyed it, give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I love you guys very much, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye!